What conspiracy theories do you think are too logical to ignore? So my dad actually confirmed a popular Reddit conspiracy theory. I told him about the laundry detergent caps have the full line too high on purpose. And he told me this was true. He interned at P&G. And they taught him the full line was for the highest level of cleanliness our product can give. You can get away with using much less detergent. Jokes on him. Denver Airport being a fallout shelter for the elite. The fact that it went like $1 billion over budget and all the symbolism. 1. Kennedy gets elected. 2. Kennedy is critical of the CIA. His own VP and military for wanting to turn the Cold War into a hot one in the willingness to perform false flag operations, Project Northwoods, to do it. 3. Kennedy is shot. 4. His VP takes power. 5. Pretty sure I saw it here on Reddit at one point. But someone brought up the art trade. David Miscavige, the chairman of the Church of Scientology, definitely murdered his wife and is getting off scot-free for it. Him and his wife got into a pretty heated argument in 2007. And she hasn't been seen since. Lawyers hired by David claim she is still alive and devotes 100% of her time to work at the Church of Scientology. Which is why she hasn't been seen since August 2007. In 2013, a former member of the church had filed a missing person report that was closed after a few officers had spoken and seen MRS. Miscavige. Even though there's no evidence whatsoever of this meeting. All missing persons reports now are turned down since this investigation is forever closed. She is either dead or locked in a bunker. The Denver Airport theory. I mean, the capstone of the building literally has the Freemason logo on it. There's some weird ass apocalypse murals on the walls. The runways look like a swastika. And there's a 50-foot tall horse statue with red glowing eyes. Building the airport cost $3 billion more than expected and the labor was piecemealed out through countless contractors. So nobody who built it knows the full scope of it. Oh, and that 50-foot tall horse statue with red glowing eyes killed its creator. Deer is a weird place. US intelligence conducting organized blackmail operations out of Epstein's island. The prosecutor handling Epstein's old case was told to back off and go easy because Epstein was intelligence. Acosta's departure from the administration confirmed that this was not just a rumor. So as an American, I would really like to know exactly who was blackmailing who, how far it extended, and what political decisions were affected. Trader Joe's makes their parking lot small intentionally to make it seem like it's more popular. Mike Bloomberg is a ploy by YouTube to get us all to get YouTube Premium to stop seeing his ads. Some torture devices such as the Iron Maiden were made up hundreds of years later so people would think, well, a regular hanging ain't too bad then. With all the scientists in the world, there has to be at least one secret lab on this planet where they have cloned a human. Dr. Cloy's Inspector Gadget. Edit. Nutley NJ. Where Martha Stewart was born. Has a butcher shop every other corner. How much meat does one small blue collar town need? Suspicious. Let me introduce you to Wonka Pisser. The theory that Oscar-winning director Bong Joon-ho made a sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with his 2012 film Snowpiercer. My dog did not go to Doggy Disneyland because he won a lifetime ticket for being a good boy. I think that he in fact died. That calm on Reddit really does nothing. I like that people always are worried that Epstein was murdered instead of suicide. What if this was a ploy to cover up that he just escaped or paid his way out of prison? Some people had to talk about Fight Club. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. The FBI keeps posting questions like this to see what the public knows. Edit. McDonald's shake machines are never actually down. Google Maps only asks you for feedback on its navigation when it knows it did a good job. I use navigation all the time. And I find that when it gets me to the destination on time or earlier than predicted, I get a notification asking to rate the trip. But if it gets me there after it originally estimated, I never get that notification. That this question is reposted every couple of weeks by them to see just how close the public is to figuring out their schemes. And that this response is reposted every time to throw you off our trail. Typing in your email address to unsubscribe from a mailing list actually enters it into more mailing lists. Jamie Lynn Spears was RP'd by Dan Schneider. He is the father of her first child. The fashion industry makes too much money from purses to care about making pockets for women easily available. Edit. Wanna really have your mind blown? Take your pants to a seamstress. We can add pockets or make existing pockets bigger. I do it all the time. $5 a pocket and I measure your phone to make sure it fits in without any issues. Jamie Lynn Spears. Miranda Cosgrove. Victoria Justice. etc. were RP'd by Dan Schneider. Nickelodeon let him get away with a lot. There's so many feed jokes in all those shows. A lot of the interviews with those cast members get really awkward when they're around Dan. If you got to pursue your dream career when you really wanted it, wouldn't you do just about anything? If you made Dan Schneider mad, your career would be ruined and your dreams would be over. Edit. I do admit RP is a strong allegation. But he is at least really creepy with the feet jokes. At the very least he is a pedophile with sexual attraction toward his female stars. Time to sort by controversial. Guys, I know this is a really crazy theory. Pro tip. Probably too late to this thread, but the idea that there are too many chicken wings for the amount of chickens sold. There is something like 1 billion chicken wings sold every Super Bowl. Where are they coming from? Well, you technically get 4 wings from every bird. So 1 chicken equals 4 wings. So 2020 Super Bowl had 25 billion wings divided by 4, and that's 312. 500. 000 chickens. 9 billion chickens are eaten in the US. So it really needs to be asked. Where are the other 34? 750. 000 chicken wings. The US government's involvement in the crack cocaine epidemic. For your information, the moon landings were real. In fact, there were 6 in total, and it's not hard to achieve. The real moon landings were the friends we made along the way. NASCAR is fake. It's just Hot Wheels going around a track, and all the sounds are made by one guy in a sound booth imitating what he thinks a race car would sound like. The true conspiracies are right in front of our eyes. The extent of corporate control over the democratic process is no secret, but we're all too busy debating the moon landing. Flat earthers and anti-vaxxers. That the US knowingly left POWs behind in Vietnam. Rob Schneider pays the migrant workers at Home Depot to choke him in the shower. Jar Jar Binks was supposed to be a Sith Lord and the big bad of the Star Wars prequels. But George Lucas screwed up the directing and then chickened out after seeing the public reception of the character. Amazon Go isn't about replacing cashiers, but about selling stock. Receiving tax breaks for R&D and selling marketing analytics on the shoppers. This is why the stores are placed in financial districts and aren't open 24 hours on the weekend. Their camera system is backed up by employees watching you. Google Amazon Go Chicago. They're closed right now. I believe that the secret societies definitely exist. No. New Coke was a way for Coca-Cola to switch from real sugar to corn syrup without people noticing. Switch to the new formula that everyone hates. Keep it for a while so that people demand the old one back. Sainsbury's taste the difference cheese. That the NSA shot down Ukrainian Flight 752 using Iran's defense systems that they've hacked to make them look bad and quell the uprising. They hacked their nuclear centrifuges. They can hack their missile systems. Epstein didn't kill himself. Birds are government-controlled drones. The Allies certainly knew about the Holocaust long before April-May 1945. They never just happened upon the camps as they were defeating Nazi Germany. This begs the question on why they never lifted a finger to stop the importations, destroy the rail lines to the camps, etc. But they never did, despite them knowing what was going on. My favorite one is that UFOs are justice in the way distant future time traveling. We probably developed some sort of cloaking device so we never see them except for when it malfunctions. Fidel Castro being Canadian PM Justin Trudeau's father. The resemblance really is uncanny. He looks nothing like his supposed biological father, and when you see that the dates his mom was staying with a castress in Cuba, everything really does line up. She also had numerous affairs rumors with people like Mick Jagger while she was married. She really had a history of getting around and partying at places like Studio 54, etc. The chairman of Samsung, Lee Kun-hee, has actually already passed away, but his family has been keeping it a secret to avoid inheritance taxes. The coronavirus being a Chinese bioweapon gone wrong. Nice try, FBI. I came up with this theory a little while ago. You can find old photos of Jeffrey Epstein with Donald Trump. We already know Trump is a wine creep, and there is no doubt in my mind he was a part of Epstein's sex trafficking ring. Epstein was at the brink of breaking and exposing all the elites who were a part of his trafficking ring. You spelled Clinton wrong. Building 7 collapsed in perfect free fall from office fires. 9/11 was a false flag operation coordinated by the CIA and Mossad. Avril Lavigne actually killed herself, and the Avril Lavigne now is her double. Pizzagut. The rich are all disgusting pedophiles. Courtney Love got Kurt Cobain killed. That we are in a simulation. So much about reality and existence just doesn't make sense. What would make sense is that the world is like a video game or something for beings of a higher understanding. Almost like this world is a limited version of theirs, ours. Reality makes so much more sense if it isn't supposed to make sense. The only reason Apple took headphone jacks off their phones is because Square was taking money away from Apple Pay. I do believe that pigs can fly, that ghosts can haunt your bed, that little Timmy didn't die, that Paul McCartney's dead. I do believe that people see the future in their dreams, that aliens abducted me, that jet fuel melts steel beams, that lizard people rule the earth, that rapture's coming soon, that Obama faked his place of birth, that Nixon faked the moon. I do believe the world is flat, that Spanish flu was planned, that Donald Trump's a Democrat, that Masons rule the land of tricks and treasons. Large and small of each you might conceive, you'll find there's not a thing at all I don't, in fact, believe. OJ wasn't Nicole's killer. It was his son who Nicole was disrespectful to that night at dinner. He was the cook at the restaurant, and who had a long-standing dislike for Nicole. OJ was at the scene to clean up for his son and took the blame. Well, got away with it. STH about medical concerns. Imagine the money you can make. Having the monopoly on the cure for the disease every person on the planet is gonna get eventually, though. Not just once, but possibly several times. Due to the constant mutations happening on the cellular level in our bodies. You can set the price to whatever you want, and people will buy it regardless. You'll get worldwide recognition and be lauded for the humanitarian effort. Hell, even the tobacco industry will love you. The fear of cancer is gone. People will start smoking again. Restarting the treatment because of a new cancer. Nah, better to have friends and family die. The industry be despised and mistrusted. Cause there's just not any monetary motivation. Everything is just a long dream. And death is your body rejecting waking up, as it's gotten too used to being asleep. Edit. No one else exists either. WWE might be a little fake. We don't know who killed Kennedy. Here's the thing about Kennedy. The fact that Jack Ruby killed Oswald should be all anyone needs to know to convince them Oswald didn't act alone. That Justin Bieber's new song Yummy is exposing a ring of pedophiles within the elite. that especially target young. How come there is not a single image of a plane hitting the Pentagon when it's one of the most secure buildings on the planet with over 1,200 cameras? Look at the size of the hole in the building. It's smaller than the size of a fuselage of a 737. Where are the wing marks to either side of the hole? Where is the tail mark? Where is the wreckage? And for that matter, where is the Shanksville, PA wreckage? Not one piece of wing, tail, wheels, engines, metal skin. Explain that, Reddit. Explain that, Reddit. Edit. Clarifying point. There were an estimated 1,200 cameras total at the Pentagon in 2001. 85 were in a position to potentially capture footage of the oceplane. All frames released do not show any plane but fireball explosion. Donald Trump is purposefully handling the coronavirus poorly so that it reaches pandemic state and he can declare martial law. Martial law is the imposition of direct military control of normal civilian functions by government, especially in response to a temporary emergency such as invasion or major disaster, or in an occupied territory. Have fun being a complete lunatic. Bob Lazar's accounts of Area 51. I tried so hard to watch him as a devil's advocate, but that man seems so convincing it's hard to ignore. Even if one UFO sighting is real, then that changes everything we know about the entire universe. There is a reason that information on UFOs is dripped through the media. The Nimitz Tic Tac is the snowflake on top of the ice cube on top of the tip of the iceberg in terms of extraterrestrial life reaching Earth. UFOs are the single largest documented unknown event in human history, and we have cave drawings showing people in the sky coming down to Earth. Bob Lazar and Dr. Stephen Greer are the most well known. But literally hundreds of military. The moon landing didn't happen. The moon is still in the sky. It hasn't landed. All the going on with the Clintons. Think about it. That government agent just mysteriously died when he had info about her. And Epstein. IDK if it's even a conspiracy at this point, but the media still acts like it is. All the child sex rings that super rich and famous people take part in. If the Catholic Church could do it and keep it hidden for decades, then some billionaires, politicians, and Hollywood people sure as hell can run one and keep it hidden. I say hidden because everyone knows this is happening. But there's either no proof or the media doesn't report on it, etc. So hidden right under our noses. Marilyn Monroe and President JFK were intentionally killed. The reason hot dogs and hot dog buns are packaged in the same amount is so customers always have too many buns or hot dogs, so they have to buy more. The whole current American diet. That the American government was intentionally infecting black people with syphilis and denying them treatment just to observe how the disease affected humans in the 1970s during the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Oh wait. Clinton and DNC killed Seth Rich. The circumstantial evidence is overwhelming that he was the leak of the emails. The whole aliens in Area 51 thing was to cover up the fact it's actually a military test facility. The gov would rather have alien BS about that place than have other governments steal or sell their weapons and tech to avoid another war. Pretty smart emo. The Flat Earth Society was started by NASA to distract us from the fact that the Earth isn't flat or round. Icosahedral D20 Earth in the house. The DNC has been plotting to have a brokered convention to stop Sanders from getting the nomination because they'd rather lose to Trump than win with a progressive. That the world is controlled by a select few ultra rich. Of course it is, because they are doing all the backdoor deals making each other even more money. Diana death was not so accidental. You know damn well same as I do that Sony Paramount made that stunt with Sonic on purpose. That's by far the best commercial they could have gotten, which saved them Lord knows how much money. A part of me still thinks it's possible that Bush Cheney knew Bin Laden's plans for 9/11. But let them unfold anyway because it would allow the US to go to war, thus improving Dubai's chances of re-election, enriching Cheney, etc. They just didn't think the damage would be as extensive as it turned out to be. Tower 7. Maybe the whole 911 thing went down exactly as they say, but how the hell do you explain a 52-story building that a plane did not hit collapsing from some small fires? There's a car which runs on water. They just don't want us to know. Because then we'd buy all the water. Then there'd be nothing left to drink but beer. And the government knows that beer. Set us free. Epstein didn't kill himself. Trump can't read. 911. Epstein. Ducks own you. Your family. Sounds like the insane ramblings of a quack addict. Fort Knox either contains no gold or is being used as other foreign countries' secure bank because the government spent that money long ago. I can't believe people think our government is capable of not using an emergency savings. This was brought up decades ago. So under intense media pressure, they let a few reporters in one room and let a reporter hold a single bar. Which he easily did. I don't even know if this counts as a conspiracy theory, as it's probably more established fact. But the fact that megacorporations all offshore billions of dollars to avoid paying taxes and get away with it. Panama Papers and all that. Something needs to actually be done about it. But isn't. Probably because the government is actually okay with it or even gets paid under the table to keep it hush hush. Meanwhile, if I have a kid run a lemonade stand and not collect taxes on the $25.00 in sales, I go to jail and get my house taken away from me. Trump is addicted to amphetamines. No airplane flew into the Pentagon on 9/11. If one did, it would have taken out an entire side of the 5-sided building. Or more. With 100s dead. It was a missile. From our own aircraft. Why? I don't know. But it was no airplane. I truly don't believe the whole 9/11 was an inside job. The only bit that feels shady is the Pentagon being hit. One of the highest security buildings in the country, and only 2 cameras caught the explosion at 5 FPS. The idea that Mattress Firm is a cover-up for some shady operation. There are 3 within seeing distance from each other 5 minutes from where I live. Robert Kardashian retook the bar exam after not practicing law for years just to join O.J. Simpson's legal team. He was also seen taking a bag of OJ when he got off the plane. The theory goes that the bag contained evidence like the murder weapon or bloody clothes, and Kardashian joined the legal team so he couldn't be called to testify. I don't deserve these upvotes. The bag thing wouldn't have been protected by attorney-client privilege, and Kardashian could still be called even if OJ's his client. Russian involvement in the 2016 election. Brexit is just a bunch of rich sighing over a nation so they can avoid the incoming EU tax laws. Jesus didn't walk on wafer, it was just mirage. That Toby Flenderson is the Scranton Strangler. When the Scranton Strangler is caught, they are watching it at Toby's desk and he is not there. The car the Strangler was in can be seen in the background at the office in multiple episodes. When Toby is pushing for ADN testing and Michael says "You are the silent killer," Toby replies with "You'll see" under his breath. The day Jim and Pam have CC. Andy holds up a newspaper that says "Scranton Strangler strikes again." This is because Toby was furious Pam, the woman he is obviously obsessed with, had a baby with another man. The Mandela effect. I never got this. So the 2 options are that several thousands of people are swapping universes, or that several thousands of people are just misremembering small details. I'm going to go with the latter. Epstein. Epstein didn't kill himself and he hosted pedoparties on some island in the Caribbean. The chemical that can turn frogs gay exists and it could potentially work for humans. The Masons built the current Denver airport to hide something important. And I'm sure I'm missing some. P.S. Top 2 have been proven to be mostly true for a fact. A North American primate aka Bigfoot. Not saying he's still around, just maybe he existed. It's stupid that in 2020 people still believe that giraffes actually exist. The entertainment industry is designed to out kids. It's not designed to do that. It just allows it. Not really any better, but Lego Star Wars is the best religion. Epstein didn't kill himself. Devices are listening to you all the time. It sounds a bit silly just straight up. But one time, my mom and I were talking about getting me an electric scooter. Like the ones you rent in big cities. Prince Harry isn't Charles' son. He looks more like the two men Diana had affairs with than the Prince of Wales. He left the royal family because of Andrew's pedo cover-up and the racism Meghan has faced. He probably threatened to do a DNA test as leverage in the split from the royal family. I saw once that the Titanic that sank wasn't actually the Titanic but a very convoluted plan to cash out insurance from the damaged RMS Olympic. And that the Titanic retired in April 1935 under the name of RMS Olympic. Can't find the article I read it on, but it kinda makes sense. Had pictures of the hull and some signature features that made it very convincing. Epstein didn't kill himself. O.J. Simpson is Khloe Kardashian's father. Rob Kardashian himself didn't want a DNA test done because he knew he wasn't the father. And if you look at Khloe, you can easily tell she has some similarities to O.J. Edit. Okay, wow. Didn't expect this to blow up. Just a conspiracy I believe in. Don't want people thinking that I just compare their looks and assume they're just related.